Many of our clients have a restricted range of motion in their big toe joint. And I can't tell you how much havoc this can wreak in the whole body, including hip issues, low back issues. So if you have started losing range of motion, we highly recommend that you do this almost daily. And if you aren't losing range of motion, we recommend that you do this as prevention, because we have noticed in many of our aging clients, and I will include myself in that one, that this is a very common joint to lose range of motion. So the range of motion specifically that we're talking about is called dorsiflexion of the big toe. If you could just show that, Jessie, beautiful. And the bones involved are the first metatarsal, if you could point to the first metatarsal, beautiful, and the big toe bone. So ideal range of motion in this joint is about 60 degrees, beautiful, and that is comprised of 40 degrees of the big toe bone coming up or back, or technically known as dorsiflexing, and 20 degrees comes from the metatarsal head moving down. So it's a combined motion of the two bones. We're going to break it into three parts. The first part, we're going to hold the head of the metatarsal still as a still point, and with the opposite hand you're going to grab the big toe bone, and the first move is to create some traction or space between the bones. So Jessie is pulling the big toe bone away from the heel, and in the model it's a little exaggeration. Your joint isn't going to move that much, but just for the purposes of demoing we're exaggerating a bit. Holding the first metatarsal still, she's going to just lift the big toe bone with that traction and lower. And it probably won't go quite that high on most people, because remember, it only gets about 40 degrees from that movement. And the next thing she's going to do is she's going to hold the big toe bone still, again creating the traction or space between the bones, always useful before you do a mobilization. And this time her intention is pushing the metatarsal head down. So if you look at her left thumb, it's pushing the bone down. She's doing a beautiful demo there. Then she's going to put the two together. So she's going to, with one hand, push the metatarsal head down, and with the other, she's going to pull back on the big toe. So she puts them together, and then she releases. She creates the traction. She pulls the big toe back, and she pushes down on the first metatarsal. And one more time, and then we're going to have her do it on her own foot. We're just going to repeat the sequence. So the first one, she's going to grab the first metatarsal head with her left hand. And it's that big knobby bone, what you think of as your toe ball. That's what she's grabbing on the top and the bottom. She's going to create traction, pulling the big toe away from the heel. Holding the metatarsal still, she's going to just lift the big toe bone. Beautiful. And she's got a good range of motion. Most people will not be able to go that far. And then we're going to push down on the metatarsal head. So again, create the traction. And this time, her intention is with the thumb on the left hand, pushing that metatarsal head down. And you can really see it descending. And then she's going to put the two together. So as she pushes down on the metatarsal head, at the same time, she's going to pull back on the big toe. Beautiful. And she's going to create that traction and pull back on the big toe and push down on the metatarsal head. And one last time. Fantastic.